Welcome back to Chalk Talk Podcast. My name is Ignacio Morrow, here alongside my co-host Jackson Briamonte. Big couple weeks in sports that we got to cover. We're going to talk about some college football, Week 6 crazy stuff. Up to today's date, we got some postseason baseball, and of course, our usual NFL. Jackson, how was your weekend?
It was good. Sports filled. Saturday. I actually missed a lot of college football on Saturday. I was in the city with my girlfriend. Shout out Ava. But yeah, big sports filled weekend because Sunday, a lot of football. Baseball's obviously, this is the best time of the year for baseball because I don't watch a lot of regular season baseball. It's not a not known fact. I'm very open about that. And then, NBA preseason heating up, that Knicks Timberwolves game, that was intense. And hockey's back, so it's the best time of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I actually got to see a hockey game this weekend. I went up to Calgary and bought this Roots Canadian hoodie. I saw the Flyers play the Flames. They lost, unfortunately, but it was a pretty good game up until the fourth. Saw Banff yesterday, which is cool. A lot of cool nature. See that on my Instagram. Yeah, good weekend.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just start off then. Some college football. We'll start off with Week 6, one of the craziest weeks we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of, I'm not going to say unexpected upsets because any upset is unexpected, but Texas A&M defeated Missouri and they destroyed Missouri. They beat them 31-10. Both are ranked teams. Like Texas A&M was 25 at the time, Missouri was 9, but still, that's not one that you expect to see. That's an insane upset. Huge blowout.
I mean, yeah, you just saw a lot of games that just weren't, like you said, unexpected, but it also shook up the rankings a ton. I mean, Ohio State, at the time, after Week 6, was first. I know they've recently dropped down, but just a shaky week for a bunch of top 25 teams.
Yeah, and I mean, you got SMU defeating Louisville by a touchdown. Louisville was ranked 22. Now they've fallen out of the rankings. You got Arkansas defeating Tennessee. Arkansas was unranked. Tennessee was 4 at the time. Washington defeating Michigan. Washington was unranked. Michigan was 10 at the time. Minnesota defeating USC. Minnesota was unranked and USC was 11. And the most shocking one of all that everyone's been talking about, Vanderbilt beating Alabama.
I mean, what a game. I mean, just from the get-go, Alabama just didn't look sharp. I don't think they were prepared to play Vanderbilt. Like Nick Saban said, every SEC environment is really hard to play in except for Vanderbilt. So I'm sure they weren't expecting that. And Jalen Milroe just started off not playing great through pick 6. Just I'm happy, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you got Nick Saban who's talking a lot, and then it wasn't backed up. He doesn't even coach the team anymore, but still, he's an Alabama guy through and through. There's a lot to come out of this game, and I got 2 questions for you after this game and after what we saw this weekend against South Carolina. Can you still consider Jalen Milroe a Heisman favorite, and is Ryan Williams still the number 1 wide receiver in college football?
I don't think you can call Jalen Milroe a Heisman candidate anymore after 2 pretty struggle-filled weeks. But as of Ryan Williams, you got to think about it like this. If his quarterback isn't playing well, then what can Ryan Williams do about that? I wouldn't take and discredit Ryan Williams at all, I'd say. But I definitely think that Jalen Milroe is out of the Heisman conversation. Someone who could be put in there, I'm going to give a little bias from Penn State, but dude, Tyler Warren, Penn State, then ridiculous week this week. He had like 250 yards. I had the college football receiving record with 17 receptions. Had a huge touchdown in the second half. He's really kind of keeping Penn State in contention. He's elite. He's an elite tight end. I'm just excited that this year the Heisman race isn't going to be a quarterback award. The race is going to be between a bunch of different position players.
Yeah. Well, first to talk about the wide receiver discussion, I don't think Ryan Williams is the best wide receiver in football. I haven't thought that all year. I think Jeremiah Smith is clearly better. They're both freshmen, but I think Jeremiah Smith is the best wide receiver in college football. But the Heisman conversation, honestly, I think it's only between 2 guys. It's not even close. It's between Ashton Jeanty and Travis Hunter. And really, I like what you're saying. about the tight end from Penn State. But realistically, it's going to go down to Janty or Travis Hunter, and that's what the real discussion should be. Who deserves it more?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Janty's been playing out of his mind this year. He's averaging over 180 yards per game, and Week 8 was his, sixth week with 250-plus yards, I think, or fourth week. He looks like an NFL player playing in college football. He's a stud. He doesn't go down. He just bounces off guys. I think, in my opinion, I think that he is I think he's the Heisman winner right now if the season ended today. Only because Boise State still has a good record, and I think that how your team performs also matters, and I just don't really like Colorado.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and honestly, for the past few weeks, I would have said it's Travis Hunter, because the argument is that he's been elite on both sides of the football. He has his own touchdown-to-interception ratio. That's insane. That's something you only get as a quarterback. That's insane. But what Ashton Janty is doing is on another level of good. Through 7 weeks, he has 1,248 rushing yards. The next closest is 937 rushing yards.
And who's that from?
It's the Iowa running back, Caleb Johnson.
Yeah, and what's Iowa doing? About nothing.
Iowa's 4-2. Iowa's fine, but they're not ranked.
They got blown out by Ohio State on that week 6.
Exactly.
He's just on another level, man. Janty's on another level. I think if you put him on any team in the country, he would continue to ball out. Some people say Boise State, who are they playing? Regardless, 250 yards multiple times is ridiculous. And I think if you put him on a Ohio State, on a Syracuse, on an Ole Miss, on an Alabama, on contending teams, I think that he strives.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. And to the point of people are saying, look at the competition. They played Oregon. He had 192 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns against Oregon. Sure, the other games have been unranked teams. Portland State, Utah State, Washington State, Hawaii, fine. Whatever. Like, it does you shouldn't be taking that. You can take it a little bit into account, but I don't think it matters that much. He's still doing amazing things with the football, and I don't think that you can knock that much. He's still playing D1 football, and he's on it. He has Boise State ranked. The only reason Boise State is ranked is because of him.
Yeah, they're number 17, and I mean, they were number 17.
15.
Probably got moved up. Now they're 15. They're a top 15 team in the country, and I say without him, they're not ranked.
Yeah, not a chance. And they're probably going to make the college football playoff because they can very easily win the Mountain West.
Yeah, they can definitely get in.
No one will come close, yes.
They just have to get into the top 12 and they're fine. They're in the playoffs, so I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah, like this week upcoming, they have UNLV. UNLV isn't ranked anymore, but they
were 25th. They were 25th when they lost to Syracuse. Speaking of Syracuse, do you think Syracuse deserves to be a top 25?
Yeah, I think it's kind of insane that they aren't. I don't understand why they aren't ranked. It's not like they're beating nobodies. Let's go through the top 25, and I'll tell you who they should be in over.
All right, so right now, the top 25. Yeah. Navy is 25th.
You want to read down, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go so Navy's 25th, Michigan's 24th, Army's 23rd, Illinois 22nd, SMU 21st, Pittsburgh 20, Mizzou 19, 18 Ole Miss, 17 Kansas State, Indiana at 16, Boise State at 15. And then I think from there on, I don't know if Syracuse can compete with like a BYU or Notre Dame or Tennessee.
So here's what I'm thinking, and they play Pitt. Pitt is their next game. If they beat Pitt, they better be ranked. It'll be insane if they're not ranked.
Pitt's 20th, so
I don't think you put them in above Army or Navy. Army and Navy are both undefeated. Michigan is a 2-loss team. Michigan will lose 2 more games. They should be in over Michigan. Michigan is not that good. They have the same record as Illinois. They have the same record as SMU. They have the same record as Mizzou.
Who have they? Can you go through their schedule? Can you go Syracuse's schedule this year?
Yeah, no, that's the problem that they're not ranked because they have widely considered one of the easiest schedules in college football. But whatever.
Who'd they lose to again? They
Stanford.
lost to Stanford. That could hurt them. That's the problem. And the thing is, what's crazy? Okay, so Syracuse. This is the first time I've actually seen this. Syracuse actually got votes this week.
Yeah, they had votes after the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm saying for the first time in the last like
Yeah,
4 weeks.
yeah,
They actually have votes. They got 13 votes, so they would technically be ranked like second. That's
yeah.
where they are right now, which I'm not necessarily upset about. I think if they ride it out and they can beat Miami, I mean, if they beat Pitt, they're top 20.
If you beat Pitt, you have to be ranked. You have 3 ranked wins.
Yeah, and
Miami,
if
you can lose Miami and still stay ranked.
as long as you don't get completely blown out, I
Yeah.
think. I mean,
But the thing with Miami is, I don't like. Yes, Miami's 6-0, and they're a top 10 team in the country. Miami struggles against unranked teams. They
yeah,
barely beat Cal. They questionably beat Virginia Tech. And okay, yeah, they blew out South Florida. They blew out Ball State. They blew out Florida A&M. And they blew out Florida. But these past 2 weeks, they've struggled against these unranked teams.
and they're not playing. Yeah, like you're saying, unranked. They're not playing good comp necessarily. They're tough. Their schedule will kind of come in towards the end of the season, and I think that's what we'll see Miami's like true colors.
They don't play a ranked team all year. As of right now, they don't play a ranked team.
Who's
They're
still on their
only
schedule?
so they have Louisville, who was ranked, but now they're not.
Okay.
Then you have Florida State, terrible. Duke, 5-1, could be ranked. Georgia Tech is not ranked.
They
Wake
were
Forest is
briefly.
2-4. Wake Forest is but Georgia Tech is ranked because they beat Florida State. That's why they're
Yeah.
ranked.
Oh, they should have never even been there.
And then Syracuse. So they, in my eyes, Syracuse will be ranked by then, and Duke could get ranked. So they have one at most 2 ranked games.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I want Syracuse to. I want them to be good. I mean, both of us want to go there next year. It'd be nice to see good football team while we're in college. That would be very fun. Realistically, I think it's definitely possible for them to end top 25, maybe even top 20.
yeah, if they get in a bowl game, if they get into a bowl game, that's perfect for them. That's fine. I don't think anyone's upset with that. But they should be ranked. They should have already been ranked, and it's kind of a joke that they're not. Why is Michigan still ranked?
Michigan's a
That's
joke. They
that's what
should.
it is. Michigan, for remaining schedule, they will win some games. Like, I'm not saying they're going to lose out at all because they'll beat Michigan State. They own Michigan State. They're going to lose to Oregon. They'll probably lose to Indiana.
They'll
They'll
lose to
be.
Penn State.
They don't play Penn State.
They don't play them this year?
No.
Yeah, we only play Ohio State this year.
And then they're going to lose to Ohio State, and then they should beat Northwestern.
They're just
So
not the same.
they're not. I think they're going to have a losing. No, they're going to have a 500 or a losing record.
Bad for Michigan standards. I think it's Harbaugh left.
Yeah, for sure it is. And they don't have a quarterback. Their defense is not what it was, but it's not terrible. I mean, they've given up 27 points the last 3 weeks, and then before that it was 28, 31, and 30. No, wait. No. They've given up 27, 24, 24, 18, 31, and 10. That's fine. They have a fine defense. They don't have a quarterback. That's their problem.
Yeah, no good. How do you feel that your Ohio State dropped down to the 4th spot?
They deserve that. Will Howard sucks. How do you not slide earlier?
Yeah.
That was awful. That was so bad.
It's a bonehead move.
That was so bad. They could have easily won that game. They deserve. Ryan Day is a joke. He can't win big games. I'm done defending him. He cannot win big games. He does not win these big. He can't. He couldn't beat Michigan. Now he will beat Michigan this year, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, he finally beat Michigan. Let's keep him." But you need to win this game, and you had it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Ohio State's still obviously a great team. They've been top 10, even top 5 all year. I'm just kind of worried. That Penn State-Ohio State team is going to be a big game this year. That's going to be a really, really meaningful game.
Yeah, and as of right now, Penn State will win that game in my eyes because they don't like to win big games.
To Ohio State? If you followed Penn State football for the last 5 years, they can't do anything.
I
Ohio
know they
State,
can't.
Michigan owned them.
I know.
I'm just worried that Penn State is ranked so high. I'm a Penn State fan, but I don't think that we deserve a 3 seed. Uh, it's the highest they've been ranked in 7 years. I don't know. Drew Aller's playing amazing. He
Besides, they've been
consistently
ranked since
every
Saquon.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's their highest seed since Saquon. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just like Drew Aller is playing amazing. He's every week I see him on rankings, top 5 college quarterback, and he had
Yeah.
an awesome game against University of Southern California. But it's like the defense is very inconsistent. Like you can't be giving up 30 points and making it a close game against USC.
Yeah.
There should have been no reason for that game to go down to overtime. You can't let USC run the ball down the field all game like we watched. You just can't. That just can't happen. So if the defense gets it together, I think Penn State can beat Ohio State and be a top 5 team. It's just, well, you just gotta see. It's all. I think it's on the defense for Penn State.
For sure. I agree. I don't like Penn State, but I agree. I was right about Rutgers.
Yeah, they fell off.
I knew that was going to happen. And they'll beat UCLA, but then I think they're going to lose out until Michigan State.
Hey, it was a fun first 5 weeks as a New Jersey native.
Yeah.
It was fun. That Washington game was electric.
Yeah.
Great experience. I mean, blackout, student section was there. Stadium was sold out for the first time in like a decade.
Yeah, I mean, they earned that. They deserved that. They started off 3-0. They started off hot, but I knew that it would happen. I didn't think they would lose to Wisconsin. I thought their losing was going to start in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they got Wisconsin destroyed them, man. That was
Yeah.
bad. Tyler was at the game. Tyler and Scarp were at the game.
I know. And they had Nebraska the week before. And I knew they were never going to beat Nebraska. But
Just brutal. Brutal for Rutgers football.
yeah.
We'll stick to football, but we'll switch over to the professional level. We'll go to the NFL. There is a game tonight, but we'll just cover what happened this week. So we start off Thursday Night Football, 49ers, Seahawks, 49ers.
I didn't watch this game. I watched the Yankees. I can't tell you anything that happened in this game.
49ers kind of got saved by the refs, but I'd say the 49ers just don't look as sharp without McCaffrey.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of been the consensus all year, and it's showing time and time again that McCaffrey is that team. Like, he is the guy. And I don't know when he's going to come back. When he comes back, I don't think he's going to be the same.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He's such a talented player.
Yeah.
Second game of the week. Bears 35, Jags 16. I mean, the Jaguars just paid Trevor Lawrence to do nothing.
Jaguars are bad. The Jaguars are
They're
bad.
really, really bad.
I don't want to put it all on Trevor Lawrence, but I feel like you can't. He played really good in the first half. Like, not really good, but he played fine in the first half. The receivers were selling him in the first half.
True.
He was making good throws, and he had a good completion percentage. He just kind of fell off in the second half. Or no, he had 2 touchdowns in the second half. Besides that, he was really bad in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say the Jaguars defense, statistically, the worst defense in the league. So that has something to do with it. What were you going to say about Caleb Williams?
He's here.
Yeah.
He's
You
around.
called him a bust 3 weeks ago. I told
did.
you, he's got to develop. There's too many good pieces around him. Not saying that they're like an amazing contender, but I think that there's too many good pieces for him not to succeed. So I couldn't see him being a bust.
He developed because of me. He developed because I said he was going to be a bust. I am the reason
Yeah.
Caleb Williams is good at football.
He heard the hate. He heard
Yeah,
the
he
hate
did.
from New Jersey.
He did. But, yeah, he looked great. I mean, I got up to watch that game. I woke up, kind of forgot there was a London game, but I turned it on. I watched from the second quarter on, and Caleb Williams played amazing in the second half. He was so good. Lights out. The touchdowns to Keenan Allen, the last one to Keenan Allen specifically, was such a pretty pass.
Dart. Just a
It
dart.
was such a nice pass, such a nice catch. And the Bears have the defense to be very good. If Caleb Williams keeps this up, they can make the playoffs because their defense might be the best defense in football. The only one, and I'm going to keep saying this, I think the only defense I have above them is the Steelers. But it's a tough argument. Like, you really can argue that the Bears are the best defense in football. Because they were hurt this week, too. And still, yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely a playoff team if they can keep putting up offensive production. Next game, it was a tight game until about the fourth quarter, or I'd say midway through the third quarter. Bucks 51, Saints 27. It was a 28-27 game at one point. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm gonna say. It was a good game until midway through the third quarter, and Spencer Rattler just kind of started throwing interceptions.
Yeah, like you said, it was a good game, good competitive, close game up until then. The Bucks are really good. I mean, Baker threw 3 picks today. If you don't throw those 3 picks, it's a much bigger blowout.
And they still put 51 points up, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. The Bucks are legit. The Saints were a 2-week wonder. That start to the season was a fluke. They're clearly not that team that people were saying they were. That offense is not what it was. They got lucky. They played the Panthers and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like, the Cowboys are not good. The defense is terrible this year for the Cowboys. We know the Panthers are terrible. That argument can be used. That's why they scored so many points. But, it was... I enjoy watching the Bucks. And, I mean, it's kind of crazy to say it's a division rival, but I think out of everyone in the division, the Bucks are my favorite out of the other 3. Like, I hate the Saints and I hate the Falcons, but I kind of like the Bucks.
No, the Bucks are a fun team to watch, and you just kind of feel good for Baker Mayfield, as he was kind of just kicked on the curb by the Browns after one injury-riddled season. Honestly, I'm happy for the guy, and he's balling out.
Yeah, he's great. He deserves this. I mean, he was with the Panthers and the Browns, 2 terrible quarterback organizations, so I'm very happy for him.
For sure. Next game, another tight game. Ravens-Commanders. I think that Washington they're a juggernaut. They could make an impact these playoffs because I think they're going to win the division.
Mm-hmm. They're by far the best team in the division.
Yeah, I mean, they just look complete. Like, they're the most consistent. No other team is consistent. The Cowboys will have a great week, look good. Oh, we're so back, and then they'll lose by 38 points. The Eagles are extremely mid. And the Giants just suck. So I think Commanders are, and Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC East right now too.
Yeah, for sure. The Commanders got that game as close as I think they really could have. I mean, the Ravens have arguably the best offense in the AFC. I still think the Texans have a better offense, but it can be argued. But that Ravens team is really good, and the fact that you only lost by a touchdown is very impressive for a young quarterback like Jaden Daniels. He played spectacular still. I mean, to play the way you played against, like I said, the Ravens defense, that is very good as a rookie. And yeah, they are far and away the best team in the NFC East. I would say they are the 4th best team in the NFC.
They haven't been good in a long time, and they're looking scary. I'm excited. I know, like you were talking about comparing yourself for the NFC South, I'm excited for the Commanders because honestly, I like Jaden Daniels, and I'd say the Commanders are our least rival. Yeah. The Eagles, like the Eagles-Giants and Eagles-Cowboy rivalry means a lot more.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for them. I don't want them to I'd rather have my Eagles win, but I'm rooting for them in a way. I like them.
Yeah, I would definitely root for them in the playoffs. Like I like them a lot. The Ravens side of things, very good team. Very good.
Yeah.
2nd best team in the AFC.
I can definitely hop on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Next game, a hard game to watch. Me and my dad, we were sitting at an Irish pub in Banff. It was the only game on TV because I guess Green Bay gets the regional zone because Minnesota wasn't playing. But Packers 34, Cardinals 13. Marvin Harrison left the game in the second quarter with what seemed to be a concussion, but Cardinals suck, man.
Yeah, and I was high on the Cardinals. I thought the Cardinals were going to be a fun, gritty offensive team that won games just because they have a fun offense, and that's just not what it is. I mean, when the offense looks good, that's what it is, but consistently, that hasn't been what it is. But yeah, I mean, they did not look good. They looked really bad. And the Packers have arrived.
Yeah. It's good that Jordan Love kind of got back on his high horse, because I like him as a guy, and I like his playing style, so I think it's just a bad look for the Cardinals, and I think it's a reassuring win for Packers fans.
Yeah, the Cardinals will get another top draft pick, and they have a foundation. So don't be out on the Cardinals, because in a couple years the Cardinals will be very good. They have a good foundation. They have Marvin Harrison, they have Kyler Murray, James Conner. They have pieces. They're just down the road team. But the Packers, I would say, are the fifth best team in the NFC. At the end of this, we'll do how we think the playoffs are going to play out, the seeding. But yeah.
Yeah. Colts 20, Titans 17. No reaction to this. I feel like I could have predicted. I feel like I could have predicted this. Calvin Ridley's pissed on social media, asking for more targets. Like you said, Will Levis sucks.
Will Levis is really bad. Joe Flacco is Joe Flacco. I mean, at some point, Anthony Richardson has to come back. That's your young guy. That's your future. But if Joe Flacco's going to keep winning you games, I'm going to keep riding with it. But Will Levis is really bad because the Titans are not a bad team. Yeah. They have a good roster. Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, Kevin Byard's on that defense. They have a solid team. It's just Will Levis is terrible because they're not giving up a crazy amount of points either.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco's Colts were dropping 40 points a week or two ago.
Exactly.
So, I mean, yeah. They have potential if Will Levis can just lock in.
Yeah.
Next game, Texans 41, Patriots 21, Drake May's debut. What are your thoughts on Drake May?
Drake May looked good. He threw 3 touchdowns.
He did. Their defense sucks. Yeah.
All the other rookie quarterbacks took 3 to 4 weeks to throw 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, he looks good on a not-so-good Patriots team, which is impressive, considering there's not much around him. He's making the most out of it. Realistically, their defense just sucks. It kind of makes sense they put 21 up on the Texans, I'd say. And just that game's on the defense to not make it any closer. But I'm happy with Drake May's debut. I'd be optimistic as a Patriots fan.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I mean, sure he threw 2 picks, but look at the positive. He threw 3 touchdowns. He's not bad. He played very, very well. This is shaping out to be a very good quarterback class, and people didn't think it was going to be. But so far, Caleb Williams is looking good now. Jaden Daniels has looked amazing. That was a good look at Drake May. Bo Nix is but
shaky.
Yeah, shaky, but that's fine. I mean, that was great to see. The Texans are the best team in the AFC. The Texans are really good.
Yeah, and I think they're definitely a contender.
They put up 41 points without Nico Collins.
Impressive.
So I'm very, very high on the Texans. I would take the Texans right now to win the Super Bowl, honestly. I think they're clearly the best team in the AFC. They might be the best team in football. I got to think a little more about that. But as of right now, Texans are my Super Bowl team. That offense is explosive. That defense is a good defense. I mean, they got it. CJ Stroud is a top 3 quarterback in football this year. How many people I'm putting over him? Darnold. I mean, as bad as the Bengals have been, Joe Burrow has been amazing.
Yeah, he's having an MVP season in a poverty organization. You still have to give him credit for being a good quarterback.
Stroud might be the best quarterback. I'm saying it right now, CJ Stroud is the best quarterback in football right now. Holmes has been bad.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the only argument you could have is either Lamar or Baker's been playing real good.
Yeah, but I'll never say Lamar is number 1. Even if I believe it, I'll never say it.
Yeah, you won't. But
and I don't believe it. I believe C.J. Stroud is 1.
Okay. I think he's playing good. I'll agree with you there. That right now at the moment he's the number 1 quarterback. Next game, my Eagles 20, Browns 16. Looks bad on paper. Looks bad. I mean, you only beat the Browns by 4. But on the flip side, the Eagles needed to win a game. They just had to. So I'm happy that they were able to win a game. The defense did not let up a touchdown. These points they got were purely off field goals and a block kick return touchdown. So honestly, I'm happy with the defense here, even though the Browns do suck. It's hard to not let up a touchdown in a game in the NFL these days with high-scoring games. And then Hurts didn't have an interception for the first time in 347 days. So I think that's another positive to take out. No turnovers from Hurts, and defense allows no touchdowns. Box score looks a little different, but A.J. Brown came back, had 115 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Smith also had 100-something yards and a touchdown. So I think there's a lot of positives as an Eagles fan coming out of this, even though they only beat the Browns by 4.
Yeah, I mean, you're the Eagles expert here. I agree with you. They need to fire Sirianni, though. He was arguing with the fans and then brought his kids to the press conference so that no one would.
So they asked him about that. They asked him about it in the press conference. He said he was just fired up with the fans because he was excited they were winning. I don't know, but as soon as they get below 500 or lose to a team like the Browns, you just got to fire him. But this definitely gave him another week of survival this week.
Yeah, I mean, because, yes, they won. So they're not going to fire a coach after a win. But you should have blown this team out. It's a really bad Browns team.
Yeah. Also, the A.J. Brown effect is very much real. He just, I think, is a game changer for this Eagles offense, even just his presence.
Yeah, I mean, they're much better when they have the receivers. Deshaun Watson is so bad.
Yeah, I don't know why Stefanski keeps playing him. He said it's because it's our best chance to win, but he just looks bad, and his attitude and demeanor on the field is no good either.
Jameis Winston gives you a better chance to win.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't play him. He's also a much more likable guy. Anyone's more likable than Deshaun Watson.
Part of my take's theory is that they're letting him play because he's just embarrassing himself, and they know nothing is actually going to happen to him because he just pays everything off because the Browns give him so much money. So their theory is they just keep letting him play so he just embarrasses himself.
That's great.
I
hope that's the case.
Yeah, and you can't bench him though because of how much money he makes. That's why he's not been benched.
And they can just use it as an excuse to get another draft pick.
Yeah.
Without looking like they're tanking.
Next week they got the Bengals. Bengals will win that. And then they got the Ravens, and then they got the Chargers. So that's 3 straight losses.
They're gonna be 1 and 8. Jeez,
4 facing
terrible.
The Saints.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So 1 and 9. That's terrible. Browns fans, I'm sorry, but that's bad.
Yeah, they may end with two or 3 wins this year. Honestly,
that's brutal. That's brutal. That's so bad.
Yeah.
Next game, Chargers beat the Broncos. Not anything different from what I would expect. I would say competitive game. Bo Nix shaky, but I like him. I think he's a good player.
Yeah. I think he looked better. He only threw 1 pick today. 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
1 pick for 216 yards. They're fine. The Broncos they have a good defense. Justin Herbert played fine. 237 with a touchdown. Just both teams playing like you'd expect both teams to play.
Yeah. Not much to say about that. Important divisional game, though, for standings.
Yeah, but realistically, it doesn't matter because the Chiefs are going to win the division.
Never know. Maybe we'll see something else this year, something new from the NFL.
I hope so.
I'd like to see a Chargers. That'd be cool. Next game, the elite defense you keep talking about. Steelers 30-13.
Yeah, so the Raiders suck, but the Steelers need receivers.
They do. And I feel like they have George Pickens, who is a talented wide receiver, but they're just not
overrated.
I don't even know if he's over. He's just not getting targets. Now, maybe it's just
he
because,
does. He does get targets.
but not like I feel like they should be like sure. Maybe let's say he gets 8 targets. He's a receiver on a team that needs receivers. He should be getting 15 targets a game. He should be getting half the attempts. I don't know. That's just me.
He's crazy talented. He's crazy athletic, but I mean, I just don't know what he's doing half the time that he's out there. He's just running into people, and he's just a menace.
He is a little menace.
He is a menace. Like Justin Fields needs receivers because he has 5 passing touchdowns on the year. Justin Fields is amazing at running the football. He had 2 rushing touchdowns today. If he had receivers, his stat lines would look a lot better. He has George Pickens, and I don't think George Pickens is that good. I think he has the talent. I think he is one of, if not the most talented wide receiver in football. But I don't think that he's specifically good at football. I think he is.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah.
about.
Like he has the potential, and the Raiders are just bad.
Raiders suck. Poor guy. Devontae Adams is not going to get traded supposedly.
Because he likes Aiden O'Connell.
Even though he's bad.
Yeah.
But
worse.
Hey, he just likes him as a guy, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh. Bros before money or success, I don't know.
I guess.
Whatever you want to call that. I'll let you take this one away. Panthers 20, Falcons 38.
They're so bad. I was so happy after the first Andy Dalton game. I thought they were back. And then even after the Bengals lost, I was like, okay, we looked competitive. This is fine. They're so bad. They're not a competitive football team. Everyone's getting hurt. There has to be an investigation on the medical staff of the Carolina Panthers because everyone's getting hurt. But they're just so bad. The only bright spots for me are Chuba Hubbard and Eddie Pinheiro. Those are the only bright spots of the entire team. But the defense is really bad. The offense is really bad. Like, Deontay Johnson's been bright. He's going to get traded, probably. They should trade him. Please trade him.
Free him. Free Deontay Johnson.
Keep Chuba Hubbard. I want Chuba Hubbard forever. I love Chuba Hubbard. He's one of the best running backs in football. But they're so bad. And sure, they played the Falcons. The Falcons are good. They play the Commanders next week. They're going to lose. They're going to lose every game the rest of the season, probably.
No confidence at all.
No, I give up. I'm looking at next year. I'm looking at the draft, and I don't even know what I want to do in the draft because I'm not specific. I'm not very high on some of the quarterbacks here. I'm not high on Jalen Milroe. I'm not high on Cam Ward. I'm Shadur, and I was high on Quinn Ewers, but I want Arch Manning, so I don't know what they're gonna do. I really don't know. I think they tank for one, draft Travis Hunter, and then wait for Arch.
Sounds like a good plan.
The Falcons are
pretty
good,
cool.
Falcons are good.
Falcons are a very good team. They're definitely a sleeper to win the NFC, I would say.
Yeah.
Or the NFC South.
Yeah.
Next game, blowout on Jerry Jones' birthday. Lions 47, Cowboys 9. Cowboys suck. That's all I have to say. Detroit was playing Detroit football, and the Cowboys just suck.
Yeah, I mean, I love when the Cowboys lose, so that was great to see. Jared Goff is elite. That conversation needs to be had. Jared Goff is an elite quarterback. 315 yards,
he's just not dual threat, which kind of you have to be nowadays. But I think he's an elite passer.
Yeah.
And when you're the best passer, and I guess you should be considered an elite quarterback.
Very good passer. The Lions, very good team. Aiden Hutchinson, that injury was awful.
Poor guy.
I don't think it's career.
Oh no, I think he'll be back next year, maybe midway through next year.
Pray for a speedy recovery.
Have some time.
But that was gruesome.
Yeah, the tibia is a really hard injury. At least it wasn't as bad as Alex Smith's. So
yeah,
he'll be back.
But the Cowboys are really bad. They are gonna lose. They might lose their next 5.
And we don't even know because, like we were talking about earlier, they're just inconsistent.
Yeah,
they're an inconsistent team.
Well, I'll read you their next 5. The Niners, they're gonna lose to the Niners. The Falcons.
Loss.
I think they'll lose to the Falcons. The Eagles. That can go either way. I think that's gonna go either way. The Texans.
It's gonna be an ugly game.
Yeah.
Loss.
And then the Commanders.
Loss. So they could realistically lose 5 straight games.
And then they have the Giants, which I don't think they'll lose to the Giants, but
there's a shot that they lose 5 straight games.
Yeah. And then
what's their record right now?
They're 3-3.
Wow, that would already knock them down to the best being 9-8. Oof.
Yeah. And because then I think they're going to lose to the Bengals. They'll beat the Panthers. But then they're going to lose to the Bucks. And then I would say the Eagles, maybe the Eagles and Cowboys split.
They split, yeah.
And then the Commanders are the last game of the year. And by then the Commanders are going to be the very, 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 very good Commanders. So they are a losing record this year.
I'm happy to see that the Cowboys suck. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Next game. A lot of people we know, probably people who are watching this very podcast, went to this game. Bengals 17, Giants 7. Ugly win for the Bengals, but a win's a win. Daniel Jones is really bad.
Yeah, but he's only... This is what it is, and let me pull up the stat. It was tweeted by Justin Pennick of Talking Giants. Shout out Justin Pennick.
SPP alum.
Daniel Jones is just bad at home. And I'll read you the stat. Daniel Jones has had 33 home games and 33 away games in his career. At home, 27 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. Away, 41 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. It's the Giants fans. He has no confidence at home.
I guess, but I feel like you can't. You could say it's Giants fans, but to be a good quarterback, you have to be able to be strong mentally.
That's
you
fair.
You have to be able to overcome and adapt that to be considered good, I would say.
That's fair. No, he did play really bad, but I think that if he is not on the Giants, he will be I think he'll be a better player. I think it'll be like one of those Baker Mayfield situations or Sam Darnold where you get him off the one team and they go strive. Like, I think he'll be better somewhere else.
Yeah, it's possible. Except, like, the thing is with, like, Daniel Jones, giving him time. Sam Darnold really wasn't given time with the Jets. I feel. Like 2 seasons.
Yeah, he was there. Yes, 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really bad quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean the Bengals look good. Bengals looked a lot better. Joe Burrow ran. That was insane. 55
plus 3,000 odds that Burrow was going to get the first touchdown of the game.
Yeah, that was a great touchdown. That was a great rushing touchdown. Bengals are slowly coming back.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I agree. There's a game tonight, Bills-Jets. I'm predicting a Bills win.
I think the Jets are going to win. I think the Jets are going to get back.
That would be interesting. That'd be very interesting for the Bills. For that, like, what would happen there.
Yeah, I mean, it can go either way, but I think you're fresh off firing Salah.
Yeah, they could be a motivated team.
I think they got it.
A little more juice. Do you think the Jets can make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I was going to segue into that. Let's predict what we think are playoffs, right? So what? Is it 7 or 8 teams? It's 7, right?
Teams.
Okay. So we'll do the AFC and then the NFC.
Sure. Let me pull up NFL playoff picture. All right. I'm gonna have to either disagree or agree with what the NFL. Oh, this is just stats. This is purely off the stats. Okay. So, all right. Where is this? Come on. I guess you could just say who's your number one.
My number one in the AFC is the Texans.
Yeah. So right now they're 5-1. Chiefs had a bye. So I think that's very much possible, I'd say.
Because it's the 4 division winners and it's 3 wild cards. So number 1, I'm gonna have the Texans. Number 2, I'm gonna have the Ravens. I think they'll win the division. Then Chiefs, just because they're gonna be a division winner, will be 3.
Okay.
And then I think the Bills. I think the Jets are gonna win the division.
Oof.
I think the Jets are going to win the division. I don't know why. The Bills will still make the playoffs.
Continue.
I'd put the Bills then at 5 because I think basically what's going to happen is whoever wins tonight, this will be the game that decides at the end of the year.
Okay.
This will be like the deciding games. I think they have similar records.
All right.
Then I'll put the Bills at 5. I think the Bengals, if they play how they're playing the rest of the year, I think you can put the Bengals at 6. And then I think the Steelers always make the playoffs, but the Steelers at 7.
Okay. I like that. I like your back. For my AFC, I'm going to have Texans. I think they'll be the number 1 seed. 2, I'm going to go with, I think the Chiefs are going to have more wins than the Ravens at the end of the year. I'm going to go with them. Ravens at 3, for sure.
Yeah.
And then after that, it gets kind of shaky. It really just depends on whether... I think the winner of this game will take the division, and I'm going to go with the Bills. So I'm going to say the Bills are the 4 seed. And then after that, I could see the Jets being a 5. And then, I think, like you said, the Steelers, I think that they'll be the 6 seed. Then it's the last seed is either going to be a Charger, Colt, or Broncos, realistically. And if I'm going to pick from those 3 teams, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think that they'll be the 7th seed with a playoff appearance from first-year coach Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, the Chargers are right there. Chargers, Bengals, and Steelers are like my 3 teams right there.
And Bengals, yeah.
Yeah. But I just think that the Chargers are just barely going to miss it.
Yeah. Okay,
NFC.
what about your NFC? Yeah, what about your NFC?
I don't think the Vikings stay undefeated.
Why not?
I have Detroit getting the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Okay.
And then I would say Tampa at the 2, Washington at the 3, San Francisco at 4.
Okay.
So those are the division winners. And then I'm going to say, the crazy thing is, the entire NFC North could make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Because the Vikings and Packers will both make the playoffs.
Well, you also got to consider these teams, they have to play each other. Like, if you see the team, let's say the Packers are, okay, so they're 4-2, and you're saying, like, maybe they'll only lose 2 more games or 3 more games. You got to take into account that does mean that they have to beat a division team. Do you think everyone's going to split?
Well, the Packers have already lost to the Vikings. They're not going to lose to the Vikings again because now they have healthy Jordan Love.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they lost. Jordan Love was shaky in the first half. Well, that's why I have both of them making it. I don't think Chicago makes it. I think Chicago is right there.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility. I guess I'm giving the Eagles 7 right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago makes it and the entire NFC North makes it.
Yeah.
They're all going to have winning records, so.
Sure. Yeah. For my first place, I'm going to give a little bit of a stunner here. I think the Falcons are going to end in first place.
Oh, wait, I'm bugging. The Falcons are going to get the 7th seed. I'm bugging.
Okay. I think the Falcons are, one, going to win the NFC South. And I think they're going to keep playing out of their minds right now. They're really hot. Kirk Cousins has some swag. He's loving the Atlanta life. I think that they can end up being first place. I think that the AFC is a bit more clear cut. I think the NFC really can be anyone taking this first seed. I think the Falcons are going to take it. 2, I'm going to have Detroit winning the NFC North, and I'll have them taking the 2 seed. 3, Commanders. They're going to win the NFC East. And then 4, 49ers. They will win the West. And then after that, it gets tough. I'm going to have the Bucks with the 5. And then 6, I'm going to go with... Who have I not mentioned? The Vikings. 6 Vikings. Or 5. And then 7, I've maybe a little biased my Eagles, but we don't have that bad of a schedule. I think we'll sneak in over the Bears because realistically, I think only it's between the Bears, the Eagles, and the Seahawks, and I think it's going to be us.
So you don't have the Packers?
No,
Okay.
I think that the Eagles will end up with a better record than them only because the Packers will have to play Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago. I think they'll have a under 500 record against those teams. They have a tough schedule.
That's fair. That's fair.
The Eagles really don't have that bad of a schedule.
Yeah.
Now, who's a better team? The Packers. That's just how playoff seeding works.
Yeah. I agree. Completely.
Even though we beat the Packers. So I don't know. It's weird. Just a weird Eagles little knack. They could end up getting a tiebreaker over them just because we beat them.
Go picks for next week. Who we got each game?
Yeah, let's set a little quick segment with that. NFL schedule. Let's do it. Broncos Saints Thursday Night Football.
Broncos.
Patriots Jags. Drake may
Patriots.
first win.
Patriots.
Yeah. Lions Vikings. I don't know why this is the game of the week.
Lions.
But it's a 1:00 game. I'm gonna take the Lions as well. Titans Bills. I'm gonna go with the Bills.
The Bills easily.
Dolphins Colts. Joe Flacco's gonna keep lighting them up.
Colts.
Falcons Seahawks. Falcons. Another really good game. Texans Packers.
Texans.
I agree. Bengals Browns. Bengals. Eagles Giants. I'm taking my Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eagles. I don't think that they can lose that game. Raiders Rams.
Rams.
Yeah, both teams are pretty bad right now. Panthers Commanders.
Commanders by like 50.
Yeah. Undoubtedly America's game of the week. Maybe not actually. There's some good games. Chiefs 40. Good game. Super Bowl rematch.
Niners.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here. I think they're gonna pull it out. I think Kelsey's gonna have a big game. Jets Steelers.
Steelers.
I'm gonna go with the Jets. Just because honestly, I think it depends on tonight's result, but I'm gonna go Jets. Ravens Bucks. This is absolutely the game of the week.
Bucks.
I'm gonna go Ravens, and then Cardinals Chargers. Another Monday night game.
Chargers.
Yeah, no doubt. Chargers. That does it for our predictions, and I think we'll wrap up with our postseason MLB. So, since our last episode, a lot has happened. The Dodgers beat San Diego to advance to the NLCS, where they're currently playing the Mets right now, but they lead the series 1-0. My Phillies, man, that was one of the most painful series to watch. I can't believe it. Everyone just fell into a slump. No excuse. This is a big offseason for the Phillies.
Yeah.
You could really see them blow it all up because there are free agents coming up soon. So I say next season, because out of their main core, I think the only two guys who are going to be gone are Alec Boehm and Brandon Marsh. And then after that, if they don't win the World Series or get there next year, I think they're going to just hop into a rebuild or somewhat of a rebuild. Like trade away guys like Schwarber or Castellanos because they're going to be free agents.
What about Harper?
He's a Philly for life. He's on contract until he's 41. And I don't think he would want to leave.
It just sucks because he may never get his ring.
Yeah. But I don't think he would trade a ring to leave the Phillies. I think he really, really, really likes the Phillies. And I think that he has a belief this team can get there. And like I said, he still has like 9 more years on his contract. There's definitely time for that.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. That's disappointing series though for you. I mean, the Mets are a team of destiny right now.
Yeah. They're
playing.
I could compare them to the Phillies when we went to the World Series.
Yeah. I mean, they're beating the Dodgers right now 6-1 in the 8th. Or the 6th.
Yeah.
6-1 in the 6th. They're crushing the Dodgers. And the Dodgers are the MLB's Chiefs. So, I mean, yeah, They didn't lose to a bad team. They lost to a team that's hot. That's what MLB playoffs are. I mean, whoever's hot.
I can't really complain. Well, I mean, I can because I'm a Phillies fan, but like, Phillies did the same thing in 2022 when they beat St. Louis, and then they beat the number 1 seed or number 2 seed Braves. Like, it just happens. It's postseason baseball. Then the American League saw Cleveland beat Detroit, which I'm kind of upset about because I wanted to ride with Detroit. Then we saw your Yankees beat the Royals.
Yeah, it was not a great series. Like, I'm not very confident after that series. Judge is so bad in the playoffs. It's not even funny. Stanton has been so good in the playoffs. It's like they swap roles because Stanton's so bad in the regular season. Stanton has earned his pinstripes this playoffs. Judge has not. I think they can beat the Guardians. I'm not as confident as I would have been if we had the Tigers, but I think that the Yankees will beat the Guardians and advance to the World Series. I mean, tonight they got Rodon on the mound. I hope he pitches well. I really do. Tomorrow they got Garrett Cole. I'll be at the game tomorrow. But Judge has been so bad in the playoffs.
That's exciting. Where are your seats tomorrow?
I don't know. They're not far though.
Yankee Stadium's a great place to see a playoff game, especially what will this be, game 2?
Yeah, and it's gonna be Garrett Cole, so that should be a win.
That'll be an awesome game for you to go to. I'm excited for you for that. Predictions? Oh man, this is tough. Cleveland and New York are both very good teams.
They got Rizzo back.
I think New York's gonna win 7.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna win it in New York.
Yeah, and Rizzo's back too, which is great to see. No, I'd say 6 or 7. 6 or 7 is what's gonna happen.
I just think New York's gonna win it in New York. They're gonna win the pennant in New York.
Yeah.
I can't see them doing it away. I think it's gonna be a game 6. Yankees are gonna be up, and then I think Cleveland's gonna win, and Yankees is gonna be like, shit, we're in trouble. I think they're gonna win the pennant at home.
Yeah.
In the National League, Mets, Dodgers, I'm going to take the Dodgers just because I don't think the Mets are going to be able to – I don't think they're going to be able to stay in a 7-game series with this good of a Dodgers team.
I just don't think the Mets lose at home. Like, if they win today, which it's looking like they're going to, I don't see them losing a game at home.
Why?
They're just hot at home. They're a hot team when they're at home. That's where they beat the Phillies.
True.
They weren't going to lose it. They were not going to lose those games at home.
That's fair. So for your bracket, you've got a Subway Series, World Series. Who do you have winning that?
The Yankees.
Yeah. That's fair. How many games?
6.
I think that's appropriate. So for my bracket, I have Dodgers, Yankees, World Series, a classic. I mean, if the Yankees get to the World Series will be a classic.
Yeah.
No matter what. But like 2 hallmark staple teams for the MLB, 2 of the biggest markets. It'd be such a good series. I think it goes to 7, but if I go with my gut, I'm going with New York because I don't think Judge will be this bad in the playoffs for that long. He'll eventually have to start hitting.
He has to. He has to become good in the playoffs because what you got to think is, and I don't think he thinks this, but if I'm Aaron Judge, my biggest fear is I come back 10 years down the line for the 10-year anniversary, or after I retire, 10 years after I retire. I come back for Jersey being retired or something, and I go back as 2-time MVP, however many home runs, however many All-Stars, and no World Series.
Yeah.
He's
too good to not be able to hit the baseball. I think it's just gonna take him a little bit of time. Like, he's only played 4 playoff games. I think he'll be fine. Be fine.
Yeah. I mean, he does good against the Guardians.
Yeah, and he's been efficient against them all year. So I definitely think that he'll catch fire and the Yankees will win the World Series.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that just about does it for this week's episode of Chalk Talk Podcast. Thank you for listening. Catch us next week for another episode. Signing off, Ignacio Morrow and Jackson Bramati.